Are we ready? Okay, welcome downtown Portland to week 108, Justice for Qadira.
Welcome downtown Portland.
We aren't going to be intimidated out of this space. We have every right to be down here talking about the things we're talking about. And today, despite the fact that we, as members of the Black community, are not being invited by the Black leadership to, give our ideas on the gun violence issue, we're going to address it anyway.
But folks, before we do that, we want to go ahead and honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On Monday. It will be his day for us to remember what he was trying to do here. And folks, it has not been accomplished yet. We have not seen the black man free here in America yet.
We also haven't seen that we can come together as a nation, so there's no joining hands right now. But we're hoping we can get there.
We're still working towards it, folks, and we're going to continue to work towards that dream. We'd like
this man's dream to become a reality, but we're going to have to work harder to make that happen. So I want to get right down to the business of calling out Governor Brown on some of her outgoing comments. I did this in Multnomah Village, and I'm going to do it down here. Because I think that when politicians lie, it causes a lot of division. It causes a lot of division in our communities. Maybe.
No, there's nothing going on.
Okay. So I just want to read what she said, because it's just a bold-faced lie, and it's causing a lot of problems in this state. People saying that they care about certain issues when they, obviously don't. Because we've been down here for 108 weeks, and her words just don't match her actions at all. Asked what she saw as her greatest successes, Brown had at the top of her list making Oregon courts more diverse through her judicial appointments, including in 2018, appointing the first black justice on the state Supreme Court in Oregon history. She also established Oregon's Racial Justice Council to focus on equity in policy making. I am very proud of the work that we have done to truly center the voices of black and brown and indigenous community members in developing the governor's agenda and budget through the Racial Justice Council, Brown said. I think that work is groundbreaking and will have a profound impact on Oregon for hopefully decades to come. First of all, for those of you who have been following Justice for Qadira for the last 2 years, because we've been down here for 2 years publicly protesting about this, the first black justice on the state Supreme Court, her name is Adrienne Nelson, and if anybody wants to go through the paperwork, this woman is involved in the cover-up of the abuse of Qadira. She has not been doing her job.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a problem. And I don't know what else she's involved with, but we've seen a lot of people who are involved in the cover-up of the abuse of Qadira getting promotions. The fact that our governor would say that she's proud of the work she's done to center the voices of the black and brown and indigenous community when we've been standing down here for 2 years, that is just so wrong. She's sitting there telling these communities that she cares and that, they're setting up these programs to help, and they don't care, and they're not going to help. They haven't cared about what me and my husband have been talking about since we started talking about it. Which just goes to show that in this city there is an agenda playing out. Can you hold this, honey? Can you hold this? Can you hold this? Hold this.
Hold on. She wants to... Do you want to...
So, it's very unhelpful to have this kind of leadership. It's very sad, especially when we are experiencing, record homicides in our community right now. To have people in charge. Hold on just 1 second.
Okay. This lady wants to just talk a little bit about what she is experiencing.
Okay, go ahead.
Come here.
We're going to let this lady talk.
My name is Mary Lou Lewis Zumwalt. My husband's name is Patrick Andrew Zumwalt. We have recently lost the death of my unborn children and my father-in-law and all the deaths of my family of many racial colors. I call myself Mary Lou the Countrified Fool of many colors. I am multiracial and I represent everyone in this world. Don't ever say you're one color. We are all the same. We bleed the same color. And don't you ever turn your back on your sister or your brother or your brothers and sisters standing beside you and say you are better than, and you're not. None of us stand below or above each other. Turn around and you say, hello, my brother. Hello, my sister. Hello, my father. Hello, my cousin. Hello, who are you that I may have never met, that nobody told me about? You turn around and you say, I love you for who you are and who we are. We need to band together, hold together, because I slept out in the rain because a sister of color put me down because my husband is a white man. And I'm going to tell you what, she put me down and says, stand and be who she is. No, we have to be who we are and live the way you gotta be. And praise God, because you know what? Where is Allah, Israel, Lord God Almighty Jesus, if it wasn't for all of us banding together, hold hands and stand high in pride, because that's what Martin Luther King said to be. Amen. We are one.
Amen.
We are one. And dang it, I swear to God, is my soul in Jesus. Hold hands and turn around and hold hands to your bus drivers, your police officers, people of service, and you tell them thank you. Thank you. God Almighty, we thank you for being there for us all. As Martin Luther King said, you may put a bullet in my head, baby, but I'm still here. By spirit and pride, can nobody take love away. Never, ever, ever. Don't take it away from our children. Don't raise our babies to see a color. Don't raise our children to see nothing. You better raise our babies to see this. Love, pride, joy. Love, pride, and joy. Remember it.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
So,
thank you so much for saying that.
That was a very nice sentiment, because we do need to start banding together, because I tell you what, the leadership, they've band together with the wrong people. Again, I want to talk about how insulting Governor Brown's statement was, because we've been being ignored, me and my husband, for the last 16 years, but 2 years publicly now. We've been ignored by all the protest groups here, unfortunately. Our issue, because it involves child abuse, it involves powerful people covering up child abuse, it involves tampering with the system.
With the medical system,
with the medical and legal system,
the law enforcement system.
And we do believe Nike is involved in this. They are obviously, their strategy is silence. But we need to get down to the bottom of this, because when the government is colluding with corporations, we are all in a whole lot of trouble, and we need to be less concerned about the corporation here in this city, and we need to be more concerned about the people. We need to all remember that corporate America, they are our representatives overseas, so their behavior is having an effect on everything.
It's
here.
A profound effect, folks.
Here all over the nation, because, you know, they take in so much money, and they run all these factories overseas, so how they treat people, you know, it matters. The fact that Nike is involved in this, I just want to let people know we are not trying to cancel Nike. We're just telling you what happened. It's not just Nike that's involved in this. There were a lot of people along the way that did not do their job when it came to the abuse of Qadira that allowed that to happen. So talking about how the system breaks down is an important thing for everybody to focus on, because there was a full system breakdown here. We're still not quite sure how it happened or who exactly put it into motion, because we still have not gotten an investigation to this day. But to have our governor pretending that she cares about, black and brown and indigenous voices, and she's starting these funds to help people, it's all lies. And it causes a lot of division in our communities when politicians, steal money for things, for programs that they have no intention of ever really funding, and that they don't even care about the people that they're collecting the money for. So that's a huge issue, and the fact that our governor gets to hide behind the media on this issue is just disgusting. Everybody who is involved in the cover-up of the abuse of Qadira is getting to hide, and I'm sorry that we have, come under really China-like censorship in this country, where we are having such a difficult time putting this story out here, and this story can be verified. One of the things me and my husband did was represent ourselves in court and represent our daughter in court. So there is a paper trail. It's a mile and I don't know, it's 10 miles long. There's so much paperwork behind this. It's not even funny.
Every single fact can be verified, but what we're running up against is the media does not want to verify any of these facts because they don't want to bring down Nike and they don't want to bring down the government.
Well, they just don't want to talk about this issue because we're not even trying to bring these two entities down. We're trying to figure out what happened here so we can improve, not just Nike, but improve the government. You cannot have this kind of tampering with the legal and judicial and medical systems going on. And I think we can see that going on all throughout our society right now. Nobody is really being held accountable for, the sheer amount of lies coming out of our politicians' mouths. We're losers? Okay.
Do you want to explain why?
Yeah, because we're fighting for our daughter, because you don't fight for shit. You don't fight for shit.
Stand for shit.
You don't fight for shit. You don't stand for
That's why you
shit.
pass by here like a coward.
Right.
Keep
Yeah,
walking.
keep walking.
Keep walking.
It's sad. People live in this
Keep
country
walking.
and they don't care about any of
Keep
it.
walking.
They really do. Yeah, you got
Okay,
something
come
to
on.
say?
Come
say
back.
it.
Come say it.
Come say it.
Come on.
Why? Why do we suck? Because we're fighting for our daughter? Because we're fighting for our daughter? You fight for anything? You take care of your
Do you stand for
kids?
anything?
Do you even take care of your kids?
Do you stand for anything, sir?
Yeah, okay,
you don't have
maybe,
kids.
maybe not.
Then keep walking.
So you've never
Keep
stood for
walking.
nothing.
You don't stand for anything.
You stand for child abuse? That's sad.
It's
So
okay.
it's fine.
It's okay, folks.
It's sad.
It's okay.
That's the moral fiber of the country right now. Nobody cares.
This is what we're dealing with, and this is why we can't fix anything in our society. This is why money keeps going, being taken directly out of your pockets for problems that are never going to get fixed.
No, I want to talk about what just happened here, too, because that was a black man that passed by. That's a black man trying to tear another black man down, which, you know what? I want to jump right into the gun violence in the black community. You guys are killing each other, okay?
It's not the
police. And then you're
police.
going to blame it on the police, but you're killing each other. It's a genocide. And here me and my husband stand, two members from the black community, both graduates of Jefferson High School. I'm class of 95. He's class of 96. And where's the black community?
They just
Selling
wanna
their
come-
own down the river. This black man comes by, tries to tear my husband down. My husband's a good father. Raised his 4 children. Yes, we experienced discrimination. Does that mean that he stopped coming home to his wife and children? Does that mean he just went to drugs and forgot all about his responsibilities? No. Okay? He stood up and fought for his family. But that's not something that,
That's not celebrated,
we
folks.
don't celebrate that, apparently, in the black community. A man of moral standing who raises their children and goes to work every day and owns a home. I guess that
positive, why can't we uplift positive things that are going on in the black community?
Yeah.
Why are we always celebrating all the negative stuff that is going on in the black community? Why are we constantly tearing each other down?
I mean, it's one thing to say that the white people in the city have turned their back on me and my husband, but we have managed to protest something serious, the abuse and molestation of our daughter for the last 16 years, and we've done that peacefully. And guess what? Crickets from our own damn community. Okay? So don't just tell me it's white supremacy holding people back. We've gone to the black community. I know people in the black community that are certainly far more connected than me and my husband, and guess what? They won't come down here and stand down here for our black child. No. Everybody's just interested in getting their money, right? You're getting some money from Nike. That's what these protest groups are getting. You're getting money. That's what BLM and Antifa get. They get money.
You guys get money from what? The government?
From the government, from these corporations that actually want to tear this country down and make sure nobody has any opportunities.
Or rights?
You know, that's who you're taking money from and who you burn the city down over for. And it's really quite shameful that we've been standing out here and our own community doesn't even come out for us. I also graduated from Harriet Tubman Middle School. You know, my husband grew up in North Portland. He went to David Douglas, H.P. Lee. Where is everybody? We have to take some personal responsibility. Thank you.
What is your name?
Mary Lou Lewis Zumwalt.
Thank you,
Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much, Mary, for being here. We do appreciate your support. Okay.
Thank you. We're here every Friday.
Stand with us.
We're here every Friday. You know,
Please
we would love to see more people, especially from every community, getting out here because you guys.
This is an every
Child
person
abuse,
issue.
tampering with the legal and medical systems. These are things we should be able to unite over. Politicians who lie and steal money for programs they have no intention of funding. We should all be interested in calling that out. I don't know how the people who are covering up this crime, how they're doing it. But
They are getting it done, folks.
there's an effect happening here in this city. You know, what I can say about the gun violence problem is I think, you know, people in our communities of color, our black people, they can see that me and my husband have been out here for the last 2 years asking for our rights. So they know there's no rights to be had, right? So gun violence, you know, when you turn to a gun, I guess you get some kind of justice, right? That's what people think. And so they think we're stupid, right? They think me and my husband are stupid. People don't see the benefits of peaceful protest. They don't see that we've maintained our marriage. They don't see that we've raised our kids, that we've been able to keep our home. You know, there's a lot of reasons to not be violent because you live another day to participate in your community and be a part of your community.
Folks, we're still here. We're still here. Our voices are still here. And we are here not just representing our daughter and our family. We are here representing all the broken people that live here in our city. Because their voices are not being heard.
There's so many people who cannot fight these battles. I mean, me and my husband have been through a lot. We're not being allowed to tell our story, which could be an inspiration to a lot of people who may think of turning to violence. Because I tell you right now, we've been there. Okay, we've been living down the street from the people who abused our daughter for the last 16 years. We have not hurt these people. And I don't want them to be hurt. I want them to be held accountable because I want to know why they did it so we can stop this kind of thing. You know, this child molestation, this child abuse is just running rampant in our communities globally. People are just raping and abusing kids, and the aftermath of that is so horrific. You know, because you
And
we have to talk about it.
Also, folks, there's not going to be any equality so long as our judiciary is completely corrupt. Okay, as long as those people can do whatever they want, and there is no way to hold these people accountable, we are not going to be able to fix anything. And like my wife said, these politicians that can just get up, take over your airwaves, and tell you whatever, and they lie about it.
And they're making policies for people about things they don't understand. They don't live in society. They live in their mansions. They have no idea what the average citizen is dealing with. I think that's why, you know, when me and my husband get out here and talk, we have a lot of insights on a lot of things because we live in this community. So, you know, we are constantly rubbing shoulders with all different kinds of people from all different kinds of walks of life. And we do not hide. How you see us down here today is how we go everywhere.
And the fact of the matter
is, people know who we are.
The fact of the matter is the majority of people that come up to us are suffering, and they are suffering in silence. They are not being heard by our leadership. They are not being taken care of by our leadership. They have no way of holding these people accountable.
And what do you do when these people say this is what they care about, but they don't care about any of it? You know? And then they cause these divisions by paying these groups to come out and push these, you know, agendas, their agendas, but they don't care about the people they're paying either. It just goes on and on and on. They are just systematically dividing the country, and you can really see it here in Portland because me and my husband are holding this space, and we take a risk when we hold this space because we are fighting very powerful people. Trust me, Phil Knight has the money to have us taken out, no problem. The government, the FBI, law enforcement, you know, they can do what they want, clearly. So we are taking a risk being out here talking, but we have to talk about the truth because our politicians are destroying everything, every opportunity. They're destroying everything for everybody because they just can't stop stealing. Thank you so
Mary,
much
for being here and standing with us and speaking.
It's the money.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. You know, I never underestimate the almighty dollar because, you know, people, they'll do anything for it. What happened with our public officials is they underestimated me and my husband because we're not out here for money.
We're out here for God, folks.
We work for God, and that's why we're out here. And God tells us we are compelled to get up and come out here. And believe you me, I have a lot of people in my life telling me to stop doing this because they're worried. But you know what? This is what needs to be done. We need to really start facing what's happening in this country. There are so many things going on all at the same time, but at the end of it all is really the subjugation, you know, of the working class and the poor class. We're getting to a point where people are just freezing, starving in the streets, and
it's
we're
unnecessary,
all just
folks.
left behind our computer screens, you know, listening to sound bites. We got to get out from behind those screens.
Folks, we got to stand up for each other, okay? Because right now, humanity is under assault. That's everyone here on the planet. There is an agenda. These people that are in power, I'm not even sure if you can call them people anymore because they are so against the common person. They want all of you gone. But that is not what God wants. God wants us to be caring for each other, and that is what we should be working for.
If we can have honest conversations, I honestly believe that we can find a way to organize our society in a way where everybody is benefiting and we're not living in a hellhole. But the agenda that's playing out here, and I believe that, you know, Portland, I think we're the center of this. You know, if we could get Governor Brown and all these people,
Tina Kotek,
all these people, Kulingoski, even all these people that are involved, Sam Adams, all these people who are involved in the cover-up of the abuse this, because fighting peacefully is a very difficult thing to do. Most people in this circumstance, I would say 99.9% would have already turned to violence. 16 years living down the street from the people that abused our daughter. I can't even tell you the amount of will it has taken to not go hurt these people.
But we know that that's not the way, folks. We know that violence doesn't get us anywhere. We know that it is important in order to have a civilized society. We have to be using communication. It is key. And right now, these people have a hold on our ability to communicate with each other. They are pressing their agenda. That is what you're getting on your media. Okay? They are programming you.
I think it's really scary to the agenda we see playing out because, the medical community, I can tell you guys right now, I know what it feels like to be lied to by a doctor straight to my face because they lied to us about our daughter's condition. They told us she was fine. Just take her home. Wrap the wound 3 times a day. She'll be okay. She couldn't even walk. So
she almost died.
You have medical professionals that are willing to lie to collect money. They were covering up for a politician, so they lied to us to get money,
and
to protect
they were
money.
Cover up for a corporation.
And then, once Nike got involved, because they had to keep the cover up going on because our daughter lived.
Well, they wanted to make sure she died, so they continued. OHSU continued not treating her while she was going into organ failure.
It's very scary because the doctors, the power they have over a patient, to get them to actually take, medicines and stuff that they may not need. We really need to start thinking about this, the control that they have. Just because you have a medical degree doesn't mean you're honest or trustworthy, and just because you're a judge doesn't mean you're honest and trustworthy. It's very hard to hold these people accountable for their wrongdoing. The doctors that didn't treat our daughter, they were never held accountable.
They weren't even asked any questions.
No, the Oregon Medical Board and the Oregon Health Authority, I've got paperwork. They said we're not going to investigate. Go away. So it's very, very easy. When they harm somebody, they have their friends watching the store. And same with judges. They have judicial immunity. So every judge involved in the cover-up of Qadira's case, there's still judges in our community today because they can commit crimes at will. And because our government is beholden to these corporations where all the money's flowing in, nothing ever gets done about it.
Folks, that can't continue to be a circumstance here on our planet with our race of beings. First of all, we are one race. There aren't separate races, okay? We are one race of beings. And the dictates from our Lord, Jesus Christ, said, come together, treat each other, treat your neighbor as yourself, care for each other. That's what we should be doing. That's what our economy should be based on. Our world should be for people, by people, by people, of people, for people, not for money.
I also want to say I had an exchange with somebody online the other day on our Twitter account, and they were saying, they don't like the fact that me and my husband praise Jesus. And I was trying to explain to them that, when you go through something like we went through, faith is essential. You don't make it through without your faith. Sorry, we'd be dead. We would be dead without our faith in Christ. I'm sorry. The pressure, the psychological pressure that was put onto our family from the government because they wanted us to turn to violence, they would still prefer that to this day. It was tough. It was tough. My husband even got arrested a couple times because he went down to knock on the abuser's door just to try to talk to them. And the police came and they hauled my husband away.
But guess what, folks?
Not because he was being violent. He just wanted to talk to the guy. That's not even allowed.
But guess what, folks? When the police came, I did not resist arrest. Okay? I knew I didn't do anything wrong, and I knew I had no problem with the police Folks, when you're being arrested by the police, do not resist arrest. And to my black community, to my black men, do not resist arrest. Okay? There's no reason why you have to resist arrest. Just go ahead. If you didn't do anything wrong, they're going to take you in. And then you'll be able to sort it out in the courts. But do not resist arrest, because that is a way for them to kill you.
And you know, that's the thing. I mean, because you're putting the police in a situation where they don't know what's going on with you, but you know what's going on with them. I mean, you could end up dead when you are interfacing with police, and a lot of times these situations, they get splashed all over the screen. There's a new one coming out of California right now with this Keenan Anderson. I'm sorry. He really should have not resisted arrest in that situation, and I'm sorry that he was on drugs. I'm sorry that that situation didn't turn out well. But for either side, I don't think anybody wanted to kill anybody in that situation. So I hope we don't start burning down our cities, because I will tell you this. There's been 101 homicides in Portland this year. 47 of them were in the black community, mostly black men being shot by other black men. And it's interesting to me because Patrice Kellers, she emerged from her mansion to make a statement about this, because apparently this was her relative. But all the black people that have died in between since the rise of BLM and now, we haven't heard from her. We haven't heard from her. They took all their money and went to a mansion, which is shameful. Really, I have nothing but it's just disgusting to me.
Thank you.
That movement, you know, when it first started up, my first question was, why aren't they giving the money that they are taking in away to the black community? Instead, the money was used to just bail people out of jail and buy mansions. And you know, this is how it goes, because people are really focused on actually taking care of people. And that's why me and my husband, you know, why we are shunned by our own black community here. I guess there's no money in the protest because there's no media down here, so nobody cares. So if that's why you're going to go out in the streets because you think you might get paid somehow, that's not a reason to be out there. You know what I'm saying? You need to be out in the streets because you actually care about people. If you don't care about people and you don't care about yourself, stay home and work on that. That would be my suggestion. Because there's serious issues that need to be worked out. We need to be able to work them out peacefully, or nobody's going to have anywhere to live. And that's what's happening to our cities today. Because again, it's not about taking care of people. It's not about making Black Lives Matter. It's not about any of that. It's about an agenda. And I would love for Governor Brown to just tell us what's up. Because obviously, she's promoting that agenda. She's been doing it since she was governor.
Folks, but we can't afford that agenda. Humanity can't afford that agenda, and it's being pushed by every single person in power right now on the planet. Okay? That agenda is getting rid of people. We cannot afford to get rid of people on this planet. Contrary to popular belief, which has been being pushed by the people in power, there are not too many people on this planet. Folks, we need every single person here and more. How do you think we created this mess? And how do you think we're going to fix it? We need people. It cannot be AI. It's not robots that's going to clean up our world. It's us. It's people. And it's people caring about people.
And it's people actually, it's when we start having these discussions, because I have to say, I really, I'm smack dab in the middle of a blue state. This is home of Antifa, BLM, LGBTQ. It does not help this situation with my daughter at all. I mean, and my daughter was an 8-year-old innocent child, and she was abused. She was a burn victim. She wasn't even a crime victim. She was a crime victim. She wasn't even given any medication. I mean, she was thrown out of the hospital so fast it made our heads spin. No police, no bandages, no medication. They didn't even put a blood pressure cuff on her. That's the reality. our problems right now, and we have people in power that are rubber stamping that. I mean, I'm shocked to see, just the extent of how this, the abuse of a child can be rubber stamped. You want to wonder why people end up in these situations like all these situations that we have going on in the breakdown of our society. When police do go out and interface with the community, you're running into a lot of mental health problems, all of that. Well, child abuse is a big issue because people are very, very, very stressed out, and they're taking it out on their kids, or they're just sick in the head, and they're taking it out on kids, period. And this is not good for the survivors. It's not good for the survivors. Our daughter has needed a lot of support to get through this. And, never once, I want to talk about this, never once did me and my husband teach our children to just hate white people, okay? Yeah, this was done by white people, but very specific ones. You know what I'm saying? And this cover-up is also happening. There's very powerful people doing this. I mean, not everybody is to blame here, but we do all need to help get the word out so we can start addressing this. Why would you want to hide it? Why would you want to hide it? On either side of the aisle, left or right. Why do you want to hide this? The fact of the matter is our government, they can easily collude with corporations, with state institutions, to cover up crimes. And then people don't get the help they need. And when people don't get the help they need, it leads to more breakdowns in society. That's really what's going on. We have tried so hard to stay peaceful. I can't tell you, how many lawsuits we filed pro se, how many letters we wrote, how many phone calls we've made, how many different groups we've reached out to and contacted and, been turned away by the ACLU. No rights for us. None. Simply because our daughter was abused, and then powerful people got involved in covering it up. And even our own community, as graduates of Jefferson High School, nobody comes out here. Yet nonviolent protest is supposed to be revered. When I think about the black community, law enforcement, all these people coming together, they say they want to solve the gun violence problem. Why don't you talk to some people who have not turned to violence? Me and my husband have not turned to violence. It's been 16 years. Why are we invited to the table to any of these discussions? You don't want to know us at all? You don't want to try to understand how we have been able to maintain our household, our marriage, and stay nonviolent in the face of this atrocity? Maybe that's why you can't get anything figured out.
But folks,
maybe the thing is law enforcement here in this city sends a message, to disadvantaged communities every week by having us stand out here, and they don't respond. They only respond to violence. That's how you get splashed all over the media. I've seen this Keenan Anderson case. It's getting splashed all over the media. People are getting all up in arms. Oh, he was tased by the LAPD. Sure, people are not exactly telling the whole story, but whatever. I mean, that's how these things always go. So people can be all whipped up into a frenzy to go burn down their communities, when in fact, what had needed to happen in that situation is this guy should not have resisted. And me and my husband know full well how corrupt the judicial system is. And we are all for more eyes and ears in that system and for some reform. But you got to do your part as a citizen. Once you start resisting arrest, you can get yourself into a whole lot of trouble. And I just suggest you don't, Stop doing it and then blaming the cops. When the cops do their job right, we got to give them accolades for that. And when they're doing something wrong, like this, covering up a crime, well, that needs to be talked about too. But those two things are happening for two different reasons, and I see this city go up in flames again. Over
you.
what the promotion of what's going on here right now. I'm worried. I see this.
Okay.
I love you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Keep doing what you got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So,
Folks, we're going to stay out here.
personal responsibility in society does matter, you guys. And I know everybody's not getting a fair shake, and we do need to do things differently.
But at the crux of a civilized society is personal responsibility and
Yes.
accountability, folks. That's how we stay civilized.
Yeah, you have to not pick up the gun. You have to not break that window. And I know how frustrating it is. Trust me, I know. In fact, the people that abused our daughter, the lady who poured the scalding hot water onto my daughter's leg, her mother actually used to live across the street from my house. I could see her mother's house while I was doing my dishes right across the street. I cannot tell you how enraged I felt day by day until
The
that lady
boiling blood, folks.
finally moved. But I still see that house, and it's upsetting. But we need to work hard to make our civilized systems work, and that's why me and my husband are so passionate about this. Because what the judges did here was really a disservice to everybody. We're really counting on our judges to apply the law equally, no matter how much money or prestige either party has. You have a job to do. And the fact that you did it this way and think that you can cover it up tells me that we need a lot more oversight in this country. People need to feel like they can get a fair shake from the judiciary, and people are not feeling that way.
Because it's not happening, folks.
For us, I mean, honestly, they ran a fraudulent trial.
It was completely fraudulent. You can't absolve somebody of criminal child abuse in a civil court. That is not possible. But that's what these people were able to get away with here in this city, in this state.
And we need to ask how many other times they've gotten away with it, because they did this because there was nobody watching the store. It's very simple.
And there is still nobody watching the store, folks.
And without their explanation, this is what really angers me about the silence, is without their explanation, how can we really make any changes? See, the governor just wants to silently pretend. Everybody that's been involved in this, who we've contacted, wants to pretend. You know, Sam Adams, he just resigned. We've talked to Sam. He knows all about this. He was involved in covering it up. I'm sure he doesn't feel good. I wouldn't feel good. The fact of the matter is they expected our daughter to die. Her living has been a pretty serious problem for them. So, because this case just exists, and nobody left or right likes this type of corruption, and we can prove it. The only reason we haven't actually had a national conversation about this is because we are under media blackout, essentially.
Folks,
it's hard to get this covered. It's really hard to get this covered.
Money can do that, you know. When a story threatens a corporate interest, money can suppress that story, okay?
Another problem here we all know is that there's a strong woman down here, and that is a problem in our society. Because, you know, women are not allowed to be out speaking anywhere, apparently. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem when strong women emerge. We know this.
I'm very proud of my wife for coming out here, because she really is the heat that is fanning this flame right here, okay? Folks, she has the heart. She is a mama bear for real, okay? And she has been protecting our daughter for the last 16 years.
We care about this issue. I mean, I would say the same things about my husband. He's been an excellent leader. He's never fallen down on the job. He gets up, he works hard. I get up and I work hard. We have both really put nose to grindstone to make this happen. And we're a team, male and female, okay? And that's a pretty amazing thing to see actually playing out. Because he does what he does best, and I do what I do best, and we support support each other. And I don't understand why that's not something that the black community here would want to uplift. Like I said, we've talked to people in the community, and they don't want to help.
Leaders in our own community.
I think it's because, it's because of their allegiance to Nike, and it's not fair because I'll tell you this, we didn't make Nike get involved, and we didn't make any of the government entities respond the way they did. When we took our daughter to the hospital, they just needed to call the police and hospitalize her and then send her to the burn unit and do an investigation.
That was their job. Not only their job, but their ethical and moral responsibility.
I just want people to think this through. We didn't wave a magic wand. We were two young parents. We didn't wave a magic wand and make these people not do their job. They didn't do their job on purpose. And that's why we are having a complete full breakdown of our society, because we've set up all these institutions, and the people within them don't do their jobs, okay? All they do is work the agenda. They work the agenda, but they're not really doing, they're not really trying to help people. That's what our institutions aren't doing anymore. Not really trying to help people. They're trying to mold this agenda. And I'm sorry, Portland, but you can really see it here. We got international attention for BLM. And me and my husband, though, black child, burned up, abused, left down on the corner.
A victim of government corruption.
Right.
And it wasn't just one police officer, folks. This was an entire systemic failure.
Yeah, we're just supposed to believe that there is no agenda, and that really these people who say they care do care, when in fact they don't, and the bodies are just piling up in the streets, and our daughter is just, she's one of those, because she still sits to this day without justice. And I don't know how we can call this country America when this protest can't even be covered. I mean, the media's actually, they're either afraid or working for the devil. I'm assuming they're working for the devil because, he's the one with the big checkbook.
Yes, the devil has the biggest checkbook on the planet, and he is using it to forward his agenda of getting rid of people.
Right.
Because he doesn't like them. Okay? But God likes people, and God wants people here, and that's why God made this world. For people.
I just want to say...
Not for AI, okay? Not for robots, not for Yuval Noah Harari to claim that people are worthless and useless.
Yeah, if you guys aren't paying attention to this Yuval Noah Harari, start paying attention, because he's the thought leader for the elites. And all of his thoughts are, people don't need to be here anymore. He's a really sick individual, but
the people in power
the elites
are
love
listening
him.
to this guy, and that is what they're creating their policy on, and it spells very bad things for you and me.
The elites are scary people, because you look at the way they live. They just need so much. They need so much attention. They need so much stuff. Really, it's a whole different realm of needs.
And they're really the reason why everybody else can't live on the planet. Because they need way more than they actually need.
I mean, they just can't be reasonable at all. It's not about, I want some wealth so I can live, a good life where I get vacations and, medical care and the basic things that people want. No, these people want.
Have to own the world. They want to go out and own other planets, okay?
And they like to be surrounded by lots of space. I mean, that's why Bill Gates' mansion is 60,000 square feet. He needs room for his ego. And so our politicians, they're just taking a play out of that, taking a page out of that playbook. Governor Brown doesn't respond. She's out on vacation because, she's got tons and tons of cash from her time as governor. So she can just kind of do, whatever she wants. And she doesn't have to answer to the people, but she can pretend. She can pretend that she cares, and she can pretend that she's standing for disenfranchised people. So it looks good in the media, but the reality is none of it's true. So, and that's why we have so many divisions in our communities today, because these politicians, they're stealing from the citizens left and right, and people are tired.
And
people are tired
and
of.
we have no way of holding these people accountable,
Yeah,
folks.
and people are tired of putting in money for programs that never go anywhere, and I can understand that. You know, me and my husband went to the ACLU about what happened to our daughter, and they told us to kick rocks. They only pick up cases that will cause division. So like this Keenan Anderson case, they'll probably get people burning down their communities over it by distorting the facts of the case, and that's unfortunate. Instead of focusing on the real issues that we have here on the ground. I mean, it's funny to me how certain cases get highlighted and then basically everybody else gets ignored.
Folks, and without media coverage, basically you don't exist. Basically. That's what's been happening to my wife and I. We've been down here for 2 years. We've been on this PA system. We know people can hear us, but they just ignore us. They pretend. And I don't know why. You guys, who are you helping? Who are you helping by ignoring us?
I'd also like
Do you think it's you're helping? Because it's not.
Yeah,
Okay?
you're just helping the government be as corrupt as possible.
The people in power bury you. And that is what these people are trying to do. And that is what they will achieve if you continue to help them.
I also want to let the black community know, whenever you're going to get serious about uplifting, upstanding people in your community, we are plenty happy to get involved with that. We would love to, stand up as role models in our community. I think we're role models. We've been married for 24 years. We've been together for 27 years. We're high school sweethearts. We raised 4 kids in the midst of fighting government corruption and racism.
We
didn't burn our own house down. And we have been able to, do all of this. And we're still standing. And I think that is something to celebrate. I don't know why the black leadership here is turning away, but maybe you should try valuing something other than money. That would be my suggestion if you want to stop burying your children. Stop valuing something other than money, because shutting 2 people like us out of the conversation, it's not helping you. You are not showing your children that there's any benefit to peaceful protest. Okay? Everybody in this community should be supporting this because it's a peaceful protest. You really shouldn't be all, worried about what my husband and me, whether we worship Jesus Christ or what our political opinions are.
Folks,
That shouldn't be your concern. Your concern should be why they covered up this crime. Why they think they can get away with it. Why they think they can tamper with the legal, judicial, and medical systems and never have to answer for it. Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself.
Folks,
Stop
we're gonna get
worrying
out here.
about who we are. Start worrying about where you are.
Where you are, folks.
That's your concern. Yes, I will tell you. And I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to say it proud, because I'm hearing from a lot of women online.
Yes, sir.
Yes, women's rights are under assault. Yes, we stand up for strong women at this protest. Yes, we believe that biological women do need their own spaces. That doesn't mean I want to see anybody discriminated against, but I'm sorry. When I look around this world, we've never equalized male or female.
We have
haven't
not
done that.
equalized
Now
the
we're trying to
sexes.
introduce all this other stuff. I'm sorry. We need to make sure that we are still protecting our women, because when you look in the Middle East, boy, oh boy, I'd want to be dead if I lived over there. I want to be dead. I don't know how they do it. Being locked in closets and beaten like that, I couldn't do it. The women in Afghanistan, they can't even see a doctor anymore. It's so sad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What were you saying? Do you want to come over and What was that?
Can't hear him.
We can't hear what you're saying.
Yes, Afghanistan, Iran, all those places. It's terrible what's going on. It's terrible what's going on. I mean, you know, if we can't define what a woman is, we can't even
There's no
speak
way-
to protecting them. I'm
there's no way
sorry.
we're gonna be able to
and
protect
everybody, you know, trans, LGBTQ, I don't care, men, women, everybody should be concerned about that. Everybody should be concerned about that. There's no reason why we can't keep the definition of woman and try to, you know,
Folks,
there's no reason why we can't continue to protect women.
We need to be, folks,
While helping others. We can't leave our women behind. I feel left behind. And I feel like a big reason is because I'm a woman. You know, I mean, the minute I started fighting for my daughter, there was nothing but misunderstandings. That's how I really felt.
Yes, sir. What were you saying? You're tired of us?
Okay.
Okay, everybody's
Everybody's tired of us.
Their
We get
opinions.
it. Unfortunately, we don't have a TV channel to get on. So, unlike all your public officials, this is what we have to do.
Stop.
We can't stop. We are being compelled by God to get out here and state our case. Okay,
Our country's going downhill, so I'm going to fight till the bitter end.
You don't talk. You don't talk. Let him talk.
Why? No, I want her to talk. I let her talk. I want her to talk. I support her talking.
Yes.
Because we need a strong female voice out here in the world.
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that, please.
Anyway.
We need a strong female
What time is
voice
it?
out in the world, okay? So I am out here and I am supporting my wife. Okay, I'm glad she talks. I'm glad she says what she says.
my God.
I support everything that she says. Okay? I believe in her. Okay? And I believe in my daughter. And that's why I'm fighting for her. Okay? So that's why we're out here, folks.
Come on, you talk.
I am talking. I am talking. And I talk when I feel like I need to talk.
No. You talk. Go ahead. Talk.
Okay,
Why?
we got to shut it down.
Why? sir?
Anyway,
Why
we're
is
going to
it?
shut it down. This is
Okay.
week 108. We'll be back for week 109.
Folks, we're going to stay out here. We're going to continue to say what we're saying. Yes. Sure.
When you're talking about defining what a woman is, how is it defining what a woman is, and does that include trans women? Does it include anyone who identifies with femininity?
I'm talking about women
We're
who
talking
were
about-
born as
talking
little
about the
girls and then
sexes.
became
Because
women.
we
like
have not
myself.
equalized the
Like
sexes.
myself.
We have not
But I mean, my
equalized-
main issue is the abuse of my
sexes.
daughter. But I've been contacted by women because very few strong women are out speaking up for themselves. You know, women are being slapped,
Subjugated.
beaten, subjugated all over the
Women.
planet. Just biological women.
Yes, but also trans women are being oppressed.
Right, but my concern right now is my biological women because that is who I am. I'm a biological woman. My daughter, the way she was treated, maybe if she was trans, we'd be getting help. I'll tell you right now, none of those communities come and help us. They don't come help us. They don't care. Nobody cares. They don't come out for this. Your little black daughter was abused. We don't care. That's what I get from those communities. So I have to fight for who I am. I am a biological woman. I see biological women all over the world. I have no problem with trans women fighting for their rights, but women, just biological women, we just got rights. We got the right to vote in 1920. We got the right to get out of the house just not long after that. In the 70s, basically, we started getting into the so. But that is a different experience. That is a different experience. So I'm sorry. When I have no problem, trans woman, you have a different experience than being born female and then staying female. It's a different experience. I don't set it aside. I don't say, oh, I have compassion for what you're experiencing, but you also have to understand as a woman, I can't. I've been stripped of my rights. Stripped. Stripped.
And I'm just saying that maybe, like, altering language when you're using might be more effective, because what you're saying comes across really exclusionary and can alienate a lot of people.
Okay,
I've been excluded.
We're talking about females. We're talking about the female sex. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the gender women. We're talking about the female sex. And between the sexes, We have not equalized the sexes.
And I know I'm
We
being
have not
subjugated by men here.
equalized men, and we have not equalized female and male. That has never happened here.
But in terms of things being exclusionary, I've been excluded from everything. Excluded from every protest in the city, everything. See, and right now, he's angry because a woman is talking.
Yeah,
He,
because it's
he has a problem with a
misogyny.
woman talking because he's a man.
No,
Having
it
a
does have to
problem
do with
with
me
a
because I'm a
woman
man.
talking.
I'm
I'm not trying to
male.
exclude anybody.
I'm a
I'd
male.
like to
I have a
create more
penis.
space.
I have a penis. I'm a male. We're talking about the sex.
I'm trying to meet people at a point of empathy and education, but first we need to discuss the abuse and the cover-up of the abuse of my daughter and why that happened.
Okay.
That's all I ever get, though, but I never get any
Okay. We don't
justice
keep it
because
safe.
she's a little girl.
Thank you.
And that is an issue here on this planet today, is how little girls are treated. You know, just for being born female. You're born with a vagina. In some cultures, that's just, you're dead.
Yes, and there is a way to approach that without being exclusionary towards people.
Okay.
And there's a
from
way-
now on, we're going to
there's-
start talking about female. No.
There's a way.
I do have something
There
to
is
say.
a way. I do believe that. I don't
do have
think I'm
something
being
to say. Please don't touch me,
exclusionary.
sir. Please don't touch me.
How?
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me, sir.
But I'm the one that's
not
being
touching you,
excluded.
okay?
I'm alone
Don't
on the
touch me,
corner.
okay?
They have
That's
a
not
group.
cool.
I don't have a
Yeah, they're
group.
talking.
I don't have a group. You know why I don't have a group is because
No,
I
I
actually was
can't.
contacted
I
by a
can't.
women's group, but
This
they're
is
too
a-
afraid.
We can-
They're afraid they will be
We are
beaten in the
right.
streets.
Yes, I can do that.
So they won't come out and
I'm
help.
not wrong.
They're afraid.
No, I don't believe
No,
so.
no. What I'm saying is they would like to come
Okay,
out and
I'm gonna
stand
let
up
him
for
talk.
my daughter, but
I'm
they're
gonna let him
afraid
talk.
that
I'm gonna let
standing
him
for a
talk.
little girl means
I'm gonna
being
let him
beaten
talk.
in the streets here in Portland.
I'm gonna
That's
let
what
him
they think. That's what they actually believe in, and people are being beaten in the streets. It's because, what do you mean? Everybody has an excuse as to why there will be no justice for Qadira. It's this political opinion, it's that political opinion, but what it comes down to is, I mean, my question is if she was trans, would everybody in this community care? Is that what has to happen to make it an issue for people to care? I don't know either.
What I'm saying is that
All right, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone.
they're afraid. I don't think people are listening to you because they don't want justice for a girl. I think people aren't listening to you because they hear the language that you're saying.
Because we're being excluded?
No, because people hear the language you're saying and they hear language that is being used to weaponize.
So that way it's okay to leave an abused, burned up child, black child on the street because she's not trans? Like, what are you saying?
Not what I'm saying, and you know that.
Well, no, I don't know what you're saying.
You're taking everything I'm saying, you're turning
You're
it around.
saying it's my language because I'm standing up for a biological girl.
You're standing up for biological girls.
Then what? What my language? What about it is insulting to you?
Nothing is insulting.
Well, I'm not excluding anybody here. If this was a trans child, I wouldn't be walking past this sign because obviously I'm out here alone because I wouldn't walk past the sign of an abused child like everybody else in this city who thinks it's okay because this is a black little girl. That's why they think it's okay. That's why. Well, my governor thinks it's okay. She says she's here to center black, brown, and indigenous voices, but she doesn't care about mine. She doesn't care about my daughter. She doesn't care that my husband was discriminated against at Nike. She doesn't care. And for 16 years, I almost ended up dead having to fight this type of discrimination. Nobody cares because you got to have their specific talking point or you're excluded. So when you want to talk about being excluded, I'm being excluded. I'm being targeted. People have come by this protest and shouted us down, called us niggers, all kinds of stuff. We've been out here for 2 years. I don't know.
They do it.
But they do it. So what are we supposed to do? I mean, I'm saying, yes, I'm fighting for women's rights. I mean, I do think that this is a big issue here is this is just a biological little girl. They're thrown away all over the world. Nobody cares. And, you know, why are women in this position in 2023? This is the modern world, and we are still being treated like this. I'm being treated like I don't exist. There's no women in America that get out and do what I'm doing, but no, can't be.
I don't like this. You don't have a period till your sentence.
What?
No, she's got a lot to
I
say.
know nobody gives a fuck. See, this is what I'm saying.
No, she is just talking.
I know what it means to be
But
a
it's
black
important
woman
to
in
talk.
my society. I'm
She's got a lot
nobody.
to say.
Maybe
She's
if
got a
I
lot
was a
to
black
say.
trans woman, maybe everybody would come down and care.
Say something.
Well, okay. I'm letting her. What am I supposed to do? Tell me what I'm supposed to do here. Tell me what I'm supposed to do about that. My daughter has lifetime injuries. Nobody will say sorry. 12 white people on a jury came out and laughed at her. Laughed at her.
And so what you need to be fighting for is reform of the justice system.
That is what
Trying to do that, but nobody cares.
Hey, stay out of it, man.
No, you're not going to direct what's going on here, sir.
Man.
I'm letting them
You want to
talk.
let women talk?
Yes.
Well, then shut up and let us talk. Because no one knows how to talk about women's rights more than women.
Fine.
But no.
Women's
No.
And let
You
us
wrong,
talk.
man.
Listen, hold on a second
You
here.
ain't got nothing to do with it.
I only interjected because we were talking about judicial corruption. I wasn't interjecting on the women issue, okay?
You want us to back up, we'll back up.
I was talking about the judicial corruption. And folks, we are out here trying to fight for judicial or fight against judicial corruption. Because that is what is going on. That is what is at the crux of our issue right here. It's not, we're not out here to, just because some people asked us about what we think about the trans thing. That's not why we're out here. Yeah, we have some opinions on it, but no, we're out here. Our
it's
daughter
okay,
was
we're
abused. It was.
I let her talk on the mic. Thank you. No, okay.
You want to talk on the mic?
You can talk on the mic. Yeah, why don't you get out of the? Why don't you get out of the way of the camera and let this lady?
He's fine. Yeah, this lady.
No, so she can be on the camera. So she can be on the camera. I'm just saying, get out of the way of the camera.
No, you guys both stop fighting, because this is what happens when women try to stand up for women's rights. Is men start fighting about it, and men start fighting over who's the better supporter of women, and men start making it about themselves, and that's what you guys are doing right now. I'm good. I'm quiet. All right. So I'm not saying that this wasn't a crime, and I'm not saying that this wasn't injustice, because this was injustice, and this is a bigger issue, and it is a huge issue with the way that all non-white women are treated in America and in all white-dominant countries. That is a problem, and I know that my experience is not your experience, and that your experience, I'm sure, has been much harder than mine, because I do come from a place of privilege in that. But I also know that there are a lot of people who would be more sympathetic to this without the language of excluding. I'm trying to think of a better way to put it, because I know that I feel like we weren't. Yeah, I feel like we weren't. Yeah, I feel like we weren't seeing eye to eye on that. But the fact is that the root of the issue isn't pitting cis women against trans women. It's not pitting the cis community against the trans community. The issue is injustice within our judicial system. The issue is racism, and the issue is sexism. The way that girls of any age, whether they're cis or trans, whether they are girls or old women, or the way that women are treated, especially the way that women of color are treated within our judicial system, that is the big root of the issue.
And I'm not trying to pit anybody against anybody.
So
what I'm telling you is I haven't gotten any support from anybody down here. So to tell me that there's something different I could have been setting, because I'm just starting to talk about women's rights, because I've been out here for 2 years by myself alone, but I've also been fighting this for 16 years with my husband alone. So we've been in the trenches by ourselves, and nobody comes out here. Now, for the first time, a couple days ago, I did get contacted by a women's group, but they told me they're not going to come because they're afraid they will be beaten in the streets. And I was actually told by somebody online, fuck around and find out. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to get any help here, but I feel like ultimately it feels to me that because this is just a biological black girl, in the city, and was a child, nobody cares. And that is how I feel. And I haven't seen any of these groups come out. My governor puts out a statement and says she cares about black, brown, and indigenous voices and LGBTQ voices, and nobody comes out here to help, ever. We can't even get one story in the media written. So if that is not discrimination against, I believe, a biological female child, then I don't know what else to think. What else is it? What else is it?
The thing is, there is... there is an issue with people having performative social justice about whatever is the hot topic trend of what's going on. Right now, the hot topic trend is trans rights. And that does not, the fact that trans rights is a hot topic trend does not mean that trans rights don't matter.
I didn't say they didn't matter.
I'm not saying that you did. I'm not saying you said that.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to a greater point here. However, that doesn't mean that those other issues don't cease to matter. And that is an issue in our culture. That is a huge issue in our culture.
But my issue doesn't matter.
And what happened to your daughter was horrific and wrong. It should never have happened. It should not have been excused by the courts.
Mm-hmm. Still being excused, and law
enforcement continue to be excused by the courts.
And it will,
and the
though.
treatment of women within a society who are treated like this, especially women of color, it is wrong, and it should not continue to happen. And that, I know there are women who are fighting for that. I know there are women who are fighting against that. And I don't know what the scene's like in Portland, but I know there are women all across this country who are fighting for the rights of women of color, who are fighting for the protection of young girls.
I haven't seen them.
Regardless of what, like I said, I don't know what the scene's like in Portland. I don't know what the scene's like in Portland.
I'm just telling you what the scene is nationally. I've written letters to all of my representatives. I've called all over the nation. My husband has called up to Washington, D.C. We have tried everything under the sun to get this case highlighted, to get justice for our daughter. And guess what? We get nothing. We get no response. We just get told, your life does not matter. Your daughter's life doesn't matter. Nobody cares about you. Fuck off. Turn off your speaker and go away. So that right there tells me that I am being excluded, okay? And I believe my daughter is being excluded because we're just biological black women and we don't matter at all. We don't even matter to the trans community. We just don't matter. Well, nobody treats us like we matter. Nobody treats us like we matter. Not in this whole city. 2 years. This is year 3.
Hold on, can I say something?
Yeah.
Sure.
It was called sister. We barbecued across the street from the goddamn police station. We shut the whole police station down. You know what the sisters did? They come through there beating on drums. All black parents. I seen them.
They don't come out for this.
You know what? I seen something.
Okay. They don't come out for this. Anyway.
The white people was the ones fighting for us.
We gotta shut it down soon because I have an appointment. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I heard what y'all was arguing about. My thing is, you know, no matter what the hell going on, it's always gonna be an issue, you know. So why sit here and change this, change that? Why don't you change it your fucking self? Go to school for it, figure it the fuck out. If it's black women, go love you a black woman.
Doing it.
I got a beautiful black woman.
Doing it.
So.
Doing it.
1 second. My thing is, you just gotta love yourself and do everything you can, do everything you need, you know? And shit, just live, really.
That's what we're trying to do.
All you can do.
No, I'm going to give it back to her because I want to. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to give it to her because I think you're just a little saucy, so maybe not the mic today. Well, no, just maybe not the mic today. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. I'm not saying not at all. Just next time. When you're more on your game. When you're more on your game, I'm going to let you have the mic. I promise.
But the fact is that it took women hundreds of years to get the vote. It took women.
Yes.
Only recently, within the last few decades, have women gotten even the ability to seek safety from domestic violence.
Right.
And there are some places, even in this country, where that still isn't the case. And there are lots of places in the world where that still isn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that women just need to sit by and just focus on living a better life just isn't the reality that we're living in, because that is implies that you have the luxury of security and that you have the luxury of having people around you who can support you, and you have the luxury of being in a safe environment. And there are so many women across this country who do not have that luxury. And it shouldn't be a luxury, it should be a right.
Absolutely.
But it's not a right, and that is something that we need to fight for.
Okay.
And it is a complete injustice and a horrible issue within our judicial system that things like what happened to your daughter were allowed to happen and were allowed to go without proper justice.
Thank you.
And I think that you should keep fighting for it. And I just would and I know that you have reached out to other groups, and I know that you have tried to find support. And I know how exhausting that can be to feel like you're fighting and fighting and fighting and not ever winning the battle and not even making progress, and to feel like your government officials don't actually have your back because they just care about what the next hot topic is within social justice and drop it as soon as something new comes up because that's what'll get them the votes. And that is a huge issue. And so it's like, yes, need to make some noise, but just make sure that you're making the noise about the right thing and make sure that you are keeping focus on what the core of it is. And your emotions are valid and your emotions matter, and but those need to be put through logic and be used as the fuel to fire that engine that is your mind and is your words. And so I definitely encourage you to keep fighting for this, but like reach out, find women who are fighting for women of color's rights, fighting for the protection of girls, and find those people and join in, find what's already going on and get in there and get in with that, because its strength is in numbers. And when you have, and I know that you're trying to get other people to come to your cause, but sometimes you need to bring your cause to where the other cause is and join that in with the group, because that's where the change happens.
My problem with a lot of the causes here in this city is they are violent. And me and my husband, we do not carry guns. We do not advocate violence. We're not going to go pair ourselves with some group that does that, because we have no interest in that. And so there really is no other outlet here in Portland. It's you either you go violent, you either go far right, or you go far left. There's no middle ground. We're the middle ground. And I don't think that I don't really think it should be a problem if we say the words women's rights. That shouldn't offend people. I mean, I think in our society in general, we need to be making more space for people. But what's happening is we're making less space for people because we're not being reasonable with anything. I mean, this cover-up isn't reasonable. But anyway, I really appreciate you stopping. It is 12:30. I have to go to an appointment by 1 o'clock. So I thank you for your courage.
Thank you very much
for speaking. I thank you for what you're saying. I will take your suggestions to heart. I hope you come back. We never mean to offend anybody. This is a delicate situation. We are discussing primarily the foundation of this protest is the abuse of our daughters. So we are not trying to offend anybody. But we have been fighting for 16 years alone. We've been fighting for 2 years publicly down on this corner, and we also speak in Multnomah Village. This is not an easy thing to do, and things will be said down here that, may offend somebody. We are not, in line politically with every person that passes by this rally, but what we're hoping is we can have hard conversations without this turning into some kind of brawl or violent protest. And so that is why another reason why I don't go to other groups' things. They have their thing. If they want to come here, they know we're here and they know what we're about. If you want to do peace and you want to talk peacefully, come to Justice for Qadira. If you want to carry guns and you want to beat up, one another, you got to go to a different rally. So
We have been searching. We definitely have been searching, but we have not found anyone yet, which is why we're still here alone. So, but we're going to stay doing
and
what
why
we're
I
doing.
said what I said primarily, because I mean, what it comes down to is, had we been surrounded by some other group at this point, maybe, we would have come to different conclusions. But that was primarily, I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the rally, but I opened it up with the governor's statement because, I mean, when you're living in a blue city with your LGBTQ governor, with your Black Lives Matter, with Antifa, with all these groups here, and you're standing down here for 2 years and nobody will even talk to you, it says a lot. It speaks volumes about where we are in this country. So again, I appreciate your courage. We're going to shut this down. Let's do the ending affirmation and call it good because we have to go.
Folks, we want to end with this, which we always do. It's important for people to understand this, and this is one of the things that we promote. Folks, it's very simple. I am the value.
I am the value.
You are the value.
You are the value.
We are the value.
We are the value.
Folks, we're not talking about money. We're not talking about gold or silver. We're not talking about no cryptocurrency. We're talking about your very life. That is the only thing that is actually, literally valuable. So let's say it. Say it with us.
I am the value.
You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value.
Wait, and I want to end it with one thing. I appreciate everybody that stopped and talked today. It's really cool that we were able to have a conversation here in this city without coming to blows. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Thank you very much, and we'll be back next week for week 109. Let's keep it going, Portland. Something special is developing here.
Thank you, Portland.
Oh, hi. That means a lot. Thank you.
I'm gonna put the song on and then no, give me no, it's still running. Keep it up.
Yeah, I was on TikTok and they got 318 views.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
And then it's higher than 94% of all hosts.
Holy crap. Thanks for doing that.
I go to like some guys and protest film, and sometimes I get arrested for this film.
That I hate. If you ever want to come film us, thank you.
We are here every Friday.
We're not. That's the one
I
thing
got
we're
nothing
not
else to
on.
do.
We're not on TikTok. So thank you.
They don't really give me a job with my history.
I would love for you to come film more. So, if it'll help your account grow it with us. We don't know. We're trying to kind of work with
I'm actually a photographer.
Oh, really? So, yeah, come by and we're here every Friday. We're always here.
What's your name?
Eagle.
Eagle. Nice name. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna shut it down. I'm gonna shut it down right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eagle. Nice to meet you.